Pop Squat, coming at ya. Is that getting old on every single video? Because I know I do it every time, and I realize now that I'm uploading multiple videos, it maybe gets a little old. Just let me know. I don't need to do it every time, but I just do it because I do. We're going to listen to a song from 1983 today because I wanted to go back and do a really old hip-hop song. Winston George, a.k.a. Hakeem Matt, American hip-hop MC and DJ from Brooklyn, New York, although I did also see maybe Harlem as well. And he has a song here that we are going to do called That's Life. Again, from 1983, I don't have a whole lot more information than that on him or this song. But definitely going to be some old school hip-hop rap. It's going to sound probably completely unlike what we've been listening to lately. 7 minutes and 39 seconds. And there you go from the golden age of old hip-hop. Let's see what it's like. We haven't hit 5,000 followers yet, so it's not the day that we're going to do that. I'm pretty sure it's going to be tomorrow, though. And just keep an eye out. It'll be in the first video I post tomorrow that actually goes live. I'll have to make sure to pick something that won't have a copyright claim that blocks it from being seen. That is going to be interesting. So I will, well, let's do this song right now, and I'll figure that out sometime in the next day. Cutmaster DC, That's Life. I do not know where my sound is at. So I think that's that. I think that's not a bass. Could be. I think it's actually a keyboard trying to sound like a bass, or that it just happens to sound like a bass. But I love it. I love that cool bass sound, especially when it's used so well.
Well, I go by the name of Cutmaster DC, and I have a rap about reality. So all you people here, just listen up close. There's a few things I feel you should know. See, life seems strange from the very first day. You smacked up your butt that bring tears to your face, but you will learn things that life are ridiculous. Bugged out on the whack and make no kind of sense. Like a brother telling you he's your friend for life, and when you turn your back, he's busting out your wife. For like being in the papers all over the world, just cause you change your sex from boy to girl. I like losing the race and you're the only one. Or looking for the bright side, there isn't none. I like rapping to a girl, spite how she looks, just to get access to her bank book. But like me being a cutthroat stick-up kid, but never doing time for anything I did. Robbing banks, stealing cars, even stuck up a cop. All about taking everything you got, and don't care about anybody else but me. Ha ha, playing the role is my reality. Read about me in the papers and about me on the news, where I shot a woman in the head for stepping on my shoes. Wonder to yourself why the hell I'm on the streets, cause I beat the murder charge, pleading insanity. So I took a year's vacation and a rehabilitation just so I could kill again, but give a better explanation. Everybody.
So it's actually really interesting going back to listen to some of this older stuff, and I might have to look at some of these older videos and songs again, because it seems like a lot of this stuff is not about reality, right? Like maybe there's a tiny little piece of reality in some of these songs, but a lot of this stuff is very much about like fantasies, like imagination, and coming up with these crazy scenarios, and like, you know, if I were rich, I would do this, and I what did he say? I shot a woman for shot her in the head for stepping on my shoes, like all this stuff that is just kind of made up, and now we have all this stuff that really seems so real and personal and close to people, and obviously these are different types of songs. This would have been more of a dance-ish song. I'm not sure if this really qualifies as something that you would hear in the clubs at the time or something like that, but it's interesting to think about. Like, none of this stuff sounds like it actually happened to him. It sounds like it's all just made up, and we don't really hear too much of that, at least not in some of the music we've been listening to lately. There's obviously lots of pop songs and things like that where it's just whatever, a love song or something like that. But this is sort of interesting that it's all just him saying things that are kind of goofy.
Yeah, you heard the facts. Now plain and simple, tell me what's that? That's right. That's right.
That bass.
Riding on the subway, yo, something's wrong. I can't hardly breathe, this piss is ammonia strong. Graffiti on the walls, blood on the streets. Everybody wears a dress, ain't always a sheet. This world is outrageous, I'm not lying to you. Pick up any newspaper, it's all in the news. Today's headlines, inflation's at its high. Now the value of a dollar ain't even worth a dime. Man goes to jail for statutory rape. Said he didn't know 13 was jail bait. Gangster gets arrested for making a bribe. Was let go when the witness suddenly died. Husband shoots dentist, attempt to kill. When found his wife had more than a cavity filled. Billions of dollars sent overseas. And people starving every day in our own country. I can't explain it, don't know who can. It makes you wonder what's the advantage of being a man. Now what I said is no quiz. Now y'all just tell me what it is. That's right.
Yeah, and that stanza seemed to almost all be about things that were in the news as opposed to made up, and I don't know if all of what he was talking about was true, but that's also a different way to do things that I hadn't really thought of before. It's kind of interesting. The That's Life is not a strong enough hook, but it's okay. And certainly for the time period, it would have been fine. But it definitely needs more. It needs a little more energy to this song. Especially if it were a dance song, like if this was going out to be played in the clubs and things like that, it just seems a little lacking. But I also complain about the pacing of Star Wars because the first Star Wars movie, A New Hope, because it's so much slower than what we're used to now. It's not a good first movie to introduce people to Star Wars, and it's crazy. And this is the same sort of thing. Like, this is not a good song to introduce people to hip-hop. It's completely a different time period, and you might be able to appreciate it because it's an old hip-hop song, but this is certainly not one of the very best hip-hop songs ever made, that's for sure.
That's right.
Almost nothing going on right now. Oh, I like that. I love that little break with all like all that stuff going on and syncopated, and it's all percussion stuff, and it's so cool. I loved it. And notice how long it was too. Like they kind of cycled it around a few times, and they're just kind of exploring and playing with the sound to see what they think sounds good. So the song is 7.5 minutes long as opposed to the 2-minute songs we get now, because people are like, nope, keep it short, keep it really tight, and it's just crazy to see all the differences.
Imagine being so confused, about to have a relapse. Don't know if you're going or just came back. Nothing's in focus, whole life's a blink. Working 7 days, don't even got time to think. Spending cash money like you just don't care. And even though your work is still on welfare, cause you have to pay rent, your child needs clothes. Wife wants to dress you, buy her book on how to sew. Cause things are getting rough, bad luck is on the scene. You try to get a loan, they say tell it to the Marines. Call dollar prayer and they put you on hold. Now your ladder to success has just been sold. I guess it's unfortunate somewhere along the way. You just been victimized by your own fate. With computers taking over these college degrees to even think about competing in society. So you go to school for 4 straight years just to be an educated, unemployed engineer. That's why it's not what you know, but sometimes who that will determine whether or not you win or lose. Cause it's a dog-eat-dog world, all about getting over, and there's no such thing as a 4-leaf clover. You're looking for luck to get you back on your feet, and the next thing you know, you're out there hustling on the streets with the pimps and the pushers, con men, all takers, trying to be the world's #1 trying to get a piece of the action. Spend their last quarter inside a number joint. Lose their last dollar shooting dice trying to hit a point. Got these people out there every day. Know they can't win, but still play the game. That's right. No shoes on the feet, only beat that you know is a fight on the street. The baby of the family out of 10 other kids, each one getting blink of what the other one did. 4 rooms and love were kept alive, hardly enough food, but never did you cry till you saw your father mugged. Heard your mother was raped, just 5 years old, already learned to hate. Now Starving Marvin is your new name, because your father got into the gambling game. Bet the mortgage on a horse called Lightning Run. Murphy's Law caught him out there, crippled legs won. Can't count money cause there never was any, but can count rats and roaches cause there always was plenty. Neighborhood looks like a TV screen. People killing one another like it's a routine. When you're finally old enough that you can move away, half your friends in jail and the other half dead. Now you're working 2 jobs every day a week, but still have to hustle just to make ends meet. Go to the store, they pass the pork for beef. Buy yourself a steak and there's a worm in your meat. Everything seems phony, can't tell good from bad. And even lady luck turns out to be a fag. Your woman's little baby, they can say it's yours, baby. Everything seems shady, whole world's gone crazy. Fighting on the street, and you know you can't compete. Cause if you get killed, your family suffers the defeat. But you're stuck in the middle, getting a job becomes a riddle. Despite how much that you may earn, it always seems too little. To qualify for unemployment, wealth is not enough. About to lose your house, all the banks say it's tough. The crime is everywhere.
His rap and his flow is pretty consistent. It's not fantastic, but there are a lot of lyrics in here, and he's doing a great job getting them all across just fine. And again, for early days of rap, they weren't doing as much with their voices as they really could have, that people got into later on, and obviously people experimented with it all along the entire time period that hip-hop has been a thing. But it's again, it's so interesting to listen to what this sort of performance is like compared to the stuff we hear in the last 10, 20 years. It's just entirely different. All they were trying to do was like tell this story and make sure the words could be heard, and now that's not even so important anymore, like that the words are heard and understandable, because it just is like it can just be texture, it can just be part of the sound of the song, and not at all back then. I mean, just not at all. It would had to be really pretty understandable. I can't really think of a song where, unless the music got really loud or there was some other noise that was happening, that you couldn't really understand exactly what people were saying as they were going through their rap songs and hip-hop songs, whatever, R&B, however it was classified at the time. And it's also really super interesting to think about.
One is in despair. Your wife for 30 years is having an affair. You simply close the door, there's a bullet in the floor, a bullet in your head, half the worries anymore.
That was much louder than it needed to be. Nice. The one thing I really wish about the music in this is it all sounds very rounded or echoey, like it is echoing, like it's in some sort of very organic space, and I almost would like the drum beats in this kind of syncopated percussion section to be even sharper than it is. And I'm not sure if it would necessarily make the song better, but I think it might. I think it would feel more definite, like more solid, and I think that would be interesting. I could listen to a 10-minute song that was just this stuff. Yeah, it's a fine song. I wish I could love it, but I don't know. It's so different than the stuff we've been listening to that now it's almost kind of hard to go back and listen to this stuff and evaluate it in the same way because they're not talking about exactly the same things. Certainly, there's a lot of talk about like how the economy is bad, and it certainly was at the time, and how Reagan had just been elected, and so politics were really becoming fractious. I mean, it was the beginning of the end of the middle class, guaranteed by trickle down economics that Reagan was famous for, is famous for, and it's really interesting because now we're dealing with really 30 to 40 years of those sorts of policies, and the stuff that people are talking about are still related to the economy and to how things are going in America, and yet it's much more personal. Like, people are talking about how they've been affected and how their lives have gone under this system, even though they don't necessarily recognize that it's all part of the complete narrative of hip hop, right? Or popular culture and that sort of thing. It's super, super interesting. It's super interesting to go back and kind of view it in that kind of historical perspective. And it's not at all what I really expected to have to think about looking at this music, but it absolutely is the case. And there's got to be all sorts of people who are in college and in music classes and things like that must be studying this sort of thing and talking about it and doing critique, and I would be super interested to see some of that. It's really, really cool. That's it for this one. 1983, Cut Master DC, That's Life. Pop Squad. Chicken now. Please like, subscribe, and share. I think I'm going to do a few more videos because I have time. It is Sunday. I am very, very tired from actually going out and doing things this weekend and walking around, which I haven't done in years, seriously. And there you go. We'll be back soon. Adios. Have a good day. Well, have a good few minutes until the next video comes out. Bye-bye.